from students around the city relative to crisis situations in terms of the occupations of these buildings. And while on one hand I feel tremendously supportive of the students protesting against the budget cuts, which I think are critical, because in fact if they don't protest against the budget cuts, they're not going to be in the school. And so this threat from different people in the administration at the student level and also at the um, state of the New York level is kind of crazy, because if in fact the students come out and they don't do anything, they're going to be out. So in a way they have very little to lose. I was looking in the paper today, I actually meant to cut it out, where there's also a listing of students who are schools where the students have taken over the building, and there are two groupings. One is where school is still in service, which are a lot of the more multiracial schools or very white schools, and the other is where the students have taken over the buildings and the schools are closed down. So City College, BMCC, York, and Ostos. So that's also an interesting dynamic, because it has a real impact relative to the issues of whether the students are going to be able to go on. John Jay, I think they've taken over, but the school is still occupied. The school is still working. People are able to go to classes. So I guess my whole posture relative to this is part of what's going on is what the students want to come out of this struggle with, and what they can come out of the struggle with, and what they need to do in order to take it to another stage. So rather than just responding to these calls, what I would like to be able to do is to give some direction to what folks are doing, which is much harder said than done. Actually, I've had more impact on what the kids are doing in Vermont than I've had what's happening here. So we've been in touch with a number of the leadership people in the schools. And the ones that we haven't been in touch with, they know that I exist, they know that Urban Sharpton exists. In terms of demonstrations and protests and effectiveness at it, there aren't two people in the state or country who are more effective, so they haven't called, so I assume that they made that decision not to. And rather than constantly trying to hook up with people who obviously don't want to work with me and what it is that I do, which is fine, what I decided to do was to be responsive to the students who made the phone calls, who are not necessarily the leadership of these strikes, but who have something to lose and who provide a different kind of leadership. The situation is such that the kids are students will either stay in the schools until the cops come, or eventually leave anyway, because you can't occupy a building for forever. And given that, the next issue is then, what is the strategy? What's the plan? What's the next step? How, in fact, what's the relationship between the occupation of these buildings and the fact that this $500 budget cut is going to be implemented, and that all over the city there is a crisis, from schools to the daycare centers to the housing to healthcare to so on and so forth. So what we came up with and what we've been trying to talk to students about are ways to think about a solution and a way to be more effective, and at some point to not be in these internal fights, which is a lot of what's going on inside the schools and amongst the kids who have taken over the building, and between the kids who have taken over the buildings and those who haven't, and everybody got in their grandmother. The issue is what's the next step? Like, what can be done in order to take this fight to another level? I think that the fact that the city council races are on the books at this moment, that they're planning to have them this year, and that we're talking about the leadership of a city in which the city colleges are closed down, is an ideal way to advance the struggle. And my suggestion is that the students take this opportunity to get on the telephones and call every city council person in the city, it's 35 of them, and say city college students are locked into buildings, they face the serious position of not being able to return to college. They may be thrown out by the cops, or they may not. They may not get to graduate, and we need to know where the hell you stand, because we're trying to make up our minds on who we're supporting for the city council. And one of the issues that we are putting on the agenda this year for the city council races, we're going to put to a vote for the people of the city by candidate of how they feel about the student budget cuts. We want to go out and talk to families and friends and voting students, students who are voting age, and say to them, this city council race, amongst many things, means the opportunity or lack of opportunity for us to continue our education, because the people who are in political office in the city council should be busting their asses to make sure that we have an opportunity to go on to school. So that's what we're going to make your race. That's the agenda of this city council race. And we want to know where you stand. And they will say, I support you or I don't. And after they say, I support you, I think that they need to be asked to go public with that support and to participate in whatever ways the students come up with. I have some thoughts about how they could be used to push it to the next step. For example, what they could do is to go into the buildings and bring the students out as the city council persons who support taking on the fight through their city council campaigns around guaranteeing that every student in the schools currently and who want to go to schools will be guaranteed an education. Now, I think that that's a brilliant idea. I'm interested and eager to work with those people who want to advance it. And I'm looking for students who will go back onto their campuses. We made up this leaflet, and what we want to do is to get that out to students all over the city, to flood the campuses with it, and then figure out how many students there are. We could do a press conference. Actually, I want to do my next Thursday Harlem meeting on this very issue, the issue of budget cuts and students and the city council races. I think we should invite people from the city council who say that they're supporting the students to come to this meeting. And, you know, I'm looking for people who will go take this out. And I think if you don't do this tactic, that you're going to get creamed. There is no help. So what do you all think, and what are your questions, and how do you feel about organizing it, and do you think, you know, it will work, and where are you at? Are you here as an observer, or are you talking?
Well, I'm here as both, but I just wanted to.
Revolution ain't high on their list. Really? So if you occupy a building, you know, it's uncomfortable. So they've been there like for forever, and nobody's basically paying any attention to it. There's not a tremendous amount of literature and attention. The elected officials aren't running down there. Cuomo goes home every night and goes to bed. Right. So on some level, they're figuring out that this pressure point isn't working. And it doesn't work independent of having another point to cook with. Right. When is it that if they don't get out by, they impact upon graduation?
Well, this week, if they don't get out by the end of this week, they're
Friday.
talking about canceling the semester. Now, that could mean many things. Canceling it with giving people grades up to the time. They can make a special deal. Because they're really concerned about keeping graduation. You know, that's...
Who is?
Well, the administration, there's ways they're trying to circumvent things. Like if they end the semester, it doesn't matter if the buildings would be empty anyway, so it doesn't matter. They want to keep summer school. That's the next semester kind of. So that there's this month they have to play around with here. But they're saying if it goes much beyond next week, then it has to push back graduation, has to push back summer school.
Well, they could also have the graduation, and most kids who wanted to go would go.
They can have a graduation anyway. They can give grades anyway if they want. They're talking about making some special things. But one thing is, I was just thinking, the students know that this is a life or death struggle as far as their education goes. I mean, the other thing that's happening also is this new chancellor is really taking a very right-wing position.
Right.
She's also, it's really going against open admissions for the first time now. And with these new standards she's raising, and the budget increases, and the tuition, the budget cuts on the funding for students also. So it's not only a rise in tuition, but it's a cut in their TAP and whatever. So it's the poorest students are out, and the least, you know, if they don't have a college track, they're talking about not letting them in. So it's like, you know, it's a bigger issue even than just the way it seems, just from budget cuts alone. It's really.
So how do you know that the students know this?
Well, I think they've talked about it, like at the York rally last week.
Right.
But
the way that they really know it is if they are planning a response that's equal to the threat. And right now they don't have a second step. They don't know where to go from here. And what you have to do, which is very unpopular, in the midst of all of the, you know, stuff that goes on, is to stand up and say, if you want to do this, this is the next step. And you have to say that uncompromisingly.
I've talked to a few of the student leaders at York about it, and they kind of get a glassy stare.
They should ask them what's wrong with them.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question for you about what is their plan? What is this?
Right, so
If
if you
what do
don't,
they think
right,
about
so
this
if they
and
don't like
think
this
of another
one,
plan,
you don't
what
need
is
to
it?
be, you know,
Right,
to
what
step
is-
on theirs.
right.
What's the next one?
Right.
Like, how long can you stay inside a building?
Right.
That's, you have to be straight with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like, you know, the root of all of problems with morale right now, because a lot of people are just wondering,
What's
well,
next?
yeah, right. I mean, people have suggested that we leave the building and then, you know, take up a plan B. But what I think is that we should just determine our plan B like right now before we just, you know, give up the building and just lose all the attention we're getting. Because we're getting a lot of attention, we were getting a lot of attention, but we had an Earth Day rally, and, you know, just our situation just took second place at the Earth Day thing, you know?
Well, I don't think you're getting a lot of attention. I think there are tons of people in this city who have no idea that the schools are out. I think that if people have kids or if they have some relationship to the schools, but I mean, you're on like page 977 in the newspapers. That's not a lot of attention. Which of these students, what side are you on between this coalition and Cleopatra?
Well, you see, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be on any side. I'm just trying to...
What are the particular tensions between those two groupings?
Well, basically, I think it's just that the student government is, you know, basically just, you know, having, you know, meetings by itself, you know, and not informing everyone else. And everyone else is basically a member of the Concerned Students Coalition.
So when this comes up as an issue, what do people say?
People just say, okay, well, you know, you're having personality conflicts, this person doesn't like that person, and that's just, you know, just really getting us off the, you know, the real subject of, you know, what are we going to do? Fine, we all know that, you know, they're threatening to raise our tuition by $500 and cut TAP and Pell, but, like, what are we going to do about that? I mean, just
So
staying in
what's
the
your
building.
response to my suggestion?
Yeah, I think that's definitely what we have to do. I mean, I got the number of some city council people yesterday, and I tried calling, but it was too late. And, you know, they said that...
We should get a list, actually, of the numbers and names of each of them that we can also give us.
Yeah, and they said that you know, already they'd have to add days to the semester because you know, we've already been in the building too long. So, I mean, it's like a really, really crucial point. We have to do something like in the next couple days.
So how do you feel about going into BMCC and putting this on the table and forcing them to have a dialogue about it?
Well, I've already started that. I mean, I talked to some people. I'm in the Public Relations Committee, which, like, you know, deals with press conferences and things like that. And I said that that's what we have to do, you know, in terms of communicating to people. That should be our major goal right now, and I've already expressed that.
And what
But
are they saying back?
They said that they thought it was a good idea. But that's just, you know, a committee of like 8 people, and there are like about 100 people in the school, so
I'll
I
take
really...
8.
Huh?
I'll take 8.
Okay, well...
How come they didn't come to the meeting today?
Well, because there's no one in the school to answer the phones and, you know, do anything else.
Are the phones closed down or?
No, our phone lines are open, they're just ringing off the hook. But the thing is that, I mean, you know, although the phones are ringing off the hook and, you know, they're asking for like Hector and Michelle, who are the heads of the Public Relations Committee, we're still not doing anything, you know? We're just,
Who exactly called?
People from 1199 who are, you know, like the, you know, a union. And they're supporting us, but I'm, you know, like suspicious of their help, because all they're doing is, like giving us food and stuff, and...
We should take it. What Dennis Revere will never do is lead you to take the Democratic Party one because he's owned lock, stock, and barrel by the Democratic Party. He's in their pocket. He will not say, go out there and take on the student city council and kick their asses. That's not what he's going to do. In fact, if anything, his job is to make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, because...
So he should eat his sandwiches, take his money, take his support, and then run a campaign against all of his friends.
Because I spoke to someone else who's in the Public Relations Committee, and they said that he was at a meeting, and we were just talking about strategies, and they said that he just got upset that we weren't organized, and I'm thinking, wait a second, you know, I mean, unions have been around since, like, you know, 19 whatever, and how's he going to get upset at us when, you know, this is like the first thing that we've done as, you know, a group.
All right, so the meeting is over. I'm ready. We should, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were going to say something.
Well, I think I still feel a little bit stuck on that there are these students at York and BMCC and at other places that are saying right on to calling the city council, they want to do that, and when we called them about this meeting, they said, oh, that's great, they were coming, and I don't even think that I think they thought they were coming, but they just didn't make it.
So why do you
But-
feel stuff about that?
Well, because I don't know, I guess I feel like I don't know how that turn is gonna happen, like
Maybe
and I
it
don't-
won't. I don't feel stuck. I think that what you have to say to students who are calling me when you all return these phone calls is that this is what I'm suggesting that you do. That I don't think that there are many choices. And then I set up this meeting and they don't show. So I think that students get anywhere else they want to get in the country. If they can't get their asses off at York College and get here for a 4 o'clock meeting, then that's a statement about where they're at about what we're doing. See, on the one hand, they won't be straight with me. So I wish they would say to me, Lonnie, I think you're doing this for your reasons, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to go this far, I don't want to have this fight, or I think you're too radical, I don't like your relationship to Sharpton. I mean, whatever. That would be more respectful than to say, sure, I'm going to come, because they want whatever it is that they call me for when they want it, which I would give them whether they came or not, because I happen to be principal. You know, but they should stop jerking my staff around. There is no reason why they shouldn't be here. If in fact they're concerned about the next step, even if they totally disagree with what this is, and they're frantic, they would come and talk it out. So I think we've given them the opportunity, and I'm sure that other people will come around perhaps. They either will or won't. But I think that if Sean and Charles want to start, what they can do is go get there are something like 16 colleges, and make sure that between now and Friday, every one of them gets these leaflets. And that's also something that, have agreed to do. So I think we should hit the colleges and see what we get off from that. Charles is saying that he has students who are interested. I think we should take it as far as, that is, see what kind of responses, and the two of them can start calling the city council and laying it out. We can write up a rap and see what they say. I think that's where we should go. And then we should, let them know that we're going to do, that this is the topic of next Thursday's meeting. And we should invite reps from the schools. They don't have to be leadership, I don't give a who they are. And tell them that we're having this meeting on the relationship between the budget fight at CUNY and also the city council folks. And maybe by then we'll have some city council people who we can invite to the Thursday meeting. So I don't think we should, I mean, you can't fight for somebody who won't fight. So you can't get bent out of shape. I think we put out, this is a very powerful statement, and we put it out, and now we have to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, no, it's good. I definitely will talk to the students at York and just lay this on the line, because they've been calling me all week for help too.
Right.
And this is the way I have to help them, so.
Right. And you have to
you know.
respond to the fact that they don't show.
Right. Yeah, it was
Not being
interesting,
rude.
all the faculty too, that said they were really for the students when I mentioned this meeting. I mean, they just, at least they were straighter, but you could tell where they were at, just talking was all they were.
Well, what did they say?
Oh, well, I kind of found out who everybody was through this. One guy who had called me a kindred spirit or something a couple days earlier turned out to be a Democratic DSA,
Mm-hmm.
and he just didn't talk. I mean, he talked pretty good. So, he was calling me every day about what we were going to do and this and that. And then when I told him this plan about the city council and how we needed to go to this meeting, he said, oh, not me, I'm with you, but, that kind of thing. And then there were other people that were supposedly for the students that the students ended up kicking out because they were trying to pull them out of the building and have a sit-in. So, there was only 6 faculty that the students were speaking to. And out of the 6, I spoke to all of them about this.
Well, I think what we should do is monitor, I think we should document it. I want to do an article on this student strike. And I think we should write and respond, I think we should take these responses. I think it's very important that people see why it is that the protests failed to win lasting gains. I think if we only come out of all of this with that documented, that's fine.
You know, we had this faculty meeting with the administration, and I raised how in '76, the faculty, administration, and students worked together when your college was threatened with extinction. 76, we were going to lose our jobs. Everybody got down and worked together and did this kind of thing with all the councilmen, the legislators, letter writing, trips to Albany, sitting in at offices, all kinds of pressure, and it worked. And I said to them, well, you know, everyone's acting concerned about the budget cuts and so on. Why don't we do this again? Why don't we go to these students and say, let's work together. We'll work with you. And the answer I got from the president is, we already tried that. Total bullshit. So it's like their jobs aren't threatened. They don't care. It's obvious that they're not down for keeping the students. York is 80% black. And I frankly think the faculty doesn't care if it's all white. And it just
The way that
total
you see rather people
abandonment
care about things as if it was.
to do something. But when I said that, and there was no response. It just was like dead in the room.
That's good. I'll put that in my article.
Okay.
No, I think it's important. I think also every one of the student leaders should be asked to participate. We should call every president who's on that in the student senate. We
Doesn't?
You mean it sounds different now than it did when your ear was first against it?
Yeah, just the times it would just, sound like.
I'm gonna go down that way there.
Not even close. Not even warm. Yes, that's it. Dumb. No, dumb. Since you couldn't get it, I will fill you in. All right, it's your assignment to get the Panasonic folks tomorrow and order that part. And and let us know how much it is and we'll pay for it. But you need to take care of watering it, okay? And that's the last thing you will ever lose. Well, that's your problem. Equipment, now that's our problem. Okay, take this home and read it. And then I want it back. I want Haya to read it, and I want Jose to read it.
Okay.
Okay?
Gee, where is Haya?
Haya, come out now. He realizes you're missing. I don't know, Chaz. I thought she was just under here. I don't know. So, let's talk.
Let's.
See, there's the birds and the bees. So what have you got in terms of some kind of general outline in your head? What are you thinking about? You know a good way to think about it, Charles? An opening, a middle, and an end. If you can't come up with a middle, an opening and an end. You may not have the end yet, but the opening is something that you should have. Do you?
No.
How about a montage of demonstration with some voiceover from some of the interviews?
Well, okay. I guess what I'm saying is that I don't know specifically what I want to say yet, but I mean I have an idea of how it's going to look.
That's what I'm asking you about.
Mm-hmm.
So a way to kind of rough that out is to have an opening and a close.
Well, I see. Okay, like I got a shot of like, you know, just the building, BMCC. I could see that, and you know.
But this is not just about BMCC.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay, go ahead.
But because I got shots of you
Go ahead,
too.
go ahead.
And I can see that, and people speaking on the steps of BMCC, and you know, going from demonstration to demonstration.
No, that's not an opening yet.
Well, okay, let me think. Open.
What do you got that's just drop dead, lays out the whole issue? A statement from a student. We're going to stay here until we grow old and die. Something. Barricaded close-ups of the barricades at the door. A lock, a chain, something. You know what I mean? Do you have that?
No, I don't. I mean, I have that on tape, but
No, that's what I'm
in
saying.
terms
You have
of
that on tape.
visualize. Oh yeah, I do.
You have that stuff like that.
Mhm.
So me speaking, does that make you think of some of the shots that you've seen?
Yeah.
So do you have a statement like that with some shots like that?
Yeah. I've got like a statement like that.
So does that make sense? Is it like a starting point?
Mhm.
See, what you want is your starting point is something dramatic, something that tells about what you're going to see. You know, that draws you into this whole thing, that sets up the crisis, that sets up the conflict. Not crisis, but sets up the conflict. Sets up what's going on. Or going to be going on, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You don't have to have the answer. I just want to talk to you about starting to think about
Yeah,
putting all of this, because you got a lot of footage,
Yeah.
and you can be overwhelmed. So you need to figure out what your best stuff is, what best tells the story, an opening, a middle is not so key, and a close.
All right.
So at least you should be thinking about the opening.
All right. And I'm thinking about that right now. There's like one scene, like when the one shot I got, like somebody was coming to pick up their pallet jack. And I was like, oh, you're gonna go with us in the building, and then like, you know, it was like a verbal confrontation with one of the students that was going in the building, and that would, you know,
Mm-hmm.
be good to show. Like, okay, here's what happened. First, there was like, you know, conflict between the students. You know, we're staying here. We're not gonna leave. and you know that's one way to express that. You know, because the student that was staying in the building was expressing it to somebody that wanted to come pick up their Pell Check, and that's kind of like the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
But-
That's good.
And I can see like in the middle, just like an interview, cuts from like different interviews, like with students telling why they were there, and then getting to their demands at some point, but with something else in between that.
Well, one of the things you might think about is using Filani. So Filani here is laying out a very clear, simple tactic that she's saying this is what the students need to do. And the students are all over the lot. They're here, they're there, they're here. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's very good to set up this political leader who's giving this tactic. Like she said to you. She said to you, what do they want to do, grow old and die there? They want to listen to me, this is what I have to say. Otherwise, what do they need? Sandwiches? I'll bring them sandwiches. Know what I mean?
yeah.
So the students are, I'm not suggesting that this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only just from this, you know, just from the stuff you've been taught. And you don't have to come up with this now. I just wanted you to be starting to think, because it's now winding down.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's winding down. Doesn't have that much longer to live, I would guess. I don't know what your, assessment is.
I'd say another 3 days, 3-4 days
Maybe.
tops.
Maybe, I don't know that it'll go that long, but whatever. It's winding down. So you need to start thinking about what this piece is going to be, so that also when you have that in your mind, you can shoot different stuff that is going to give you the stuff that you might need to fill in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you have that structure in mind, now you need to be thinking about what you've got so far. You need to be thinking, and a good thing to do is to be reviewing what you've shot now.
All right.
So I think it would be good for you to figure on spending some time just looking at what you've got. You can take this player, this VHS deck, and you can use it with that TV out there.
Okay.
You know, and just sit and look through the footage that you have and log it, so you know what's where. That would be a good thing for you and Maya to do. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds very good.
Good. All right, so let's put that to rest. That is the assignment. You got to finish that motherfucker tonight. That's the talent show. Did you shoot it?
The
Up
last
in the
one?
Bronx?
Yeah, probably.
The one that was canceled?
Oh yeah, that.
And then okay, X that one. All right.
All right.
Fast. I gotta finish this, which will take me just a few minutes.
Okay.
Why don't you put that in your bag? Unless you forget it.
That's very nice work, guys. Nice.
I'm glad you like it.
What was that?
Say it. I'm glad that you like it.
Oh, golly gee.
Thanks.
How about his daughter?
You can call for me, it's all right.
We recognize where the base of this kind of new alliance and new political movement is going to come from. And Black Lead means that. A lot of people don't like to hear that because they want to say, well, why can't anybody leave? Well, anybody can leave. The problem is Mario Cuomo doesn't. That's a fact.
We're gonna
Oh
take a
no.
That's a fact.
Hi, Shaston. Oh, she's not. Oh, I forgot. Didn't she say she was going to the dentist? Oh, okay. Alright. I was just waiting for her to just do something.
Yeah, she did say she was going to that.
Okay. So I'll see you later. Bye. Ouch.
What?
Dentist. That hurts.
It looks like that battery's dead.
Oh, does
Give
it?
it another power on. So how is the camera acting?
backlight seemed to work fine today. Maybe it's because I was outside. Oh, there's a tape in here.
Yeah, I know.
And you're recording on it.
Yeah, I was running it down. You said there was nothing on it.
Yeah. I didn't rewind it.
I hope you did.
Oh, no, I didn't.
So is it running?
Yeah, it is.
All right, just leave it. So what else is doing?
What else? Nothing. Let's see. I tried to call some city council people today, and I spoke to one guy who's a total asshole. He was
They're all total assholes.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but one of them really showed me how much of an asshole he was. He was like, because I was just asking him, what the council member was going to do and how he felt about this, and he was like, oh, well, I think I can answer that for you. We've suggested that we've got some legislation that, or I don't know, like a proposal that would, say to Cuomo that we don't want the $500 tuition increase. And I'm like, okay, well, since there is a reason behind this $500 tuition increase, allegedly anyway, what do you propose we do instead of raising the $500?
Who said
Raising
that?
tuition $500.
You said that to you?
No, I said that to him.
Why?
Just to find out, if we really do need a $500 tuition increase in order to make up for, the education budget.
That's bullshit.
Well, yeah, I know. So I asked him what we should do instead of that. He was just like, well, I don't know. It's not for us to say.
It's not for me to say.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who did you speak to?
I wrote it down.
So is he coming out?
Coming out where? To school?
Yeah.
No, it was his assistant. Should I ask his assistant to come out?
Doctors and Kalani and Babylon, the sounds of the struggle of the 90s, led by two of America's most important leaders.
Stanley Michaels, his assistant. From New York. Yeah.
Shopping and from...
Anybody can leave. The problem is married someone doesn't.
What's this that you're doing?
Shopping and Kalani and Babylon.
What?
What's this?
This is next week's program.
The problem is Mario Cuomo doesn't. That's a fact. Doesn't. That's a fact. I mean it. Well, anybody can leave. The problem is Mario Cuomo doesn't.
Shopping and Kalani and Babylon, the sounds of the struggle of the 90s, led by two of America's most important leaders. Shopping and Fulani in Babylon. Hear it as it happens. 65-minute audio cassette, just $5.95. Order yours today.
I'm bringing you now the people's choice, the candidate of the man, the next governor of the state of New York, Dr. Lenore Kalani, the next governor of the state of New York,
We have
the next governor of the next governor.
Alright, so what can I give you now? let's see, I'm at 25:38. That's 24:38 in 3 minutes, 27:38.
Mhm. Okay, 25:38. Wow, what's that?
27:38. That's where I am now.
Mhm.
And this piece is about 3 minutes. $27.38.
And how many minutes do you need for the credits?
I don't know. I guess I can finish this now. The reason I'm not going to finish it
Is
well, here's where it is.
Shopping in Fulani in Babylon. Hear it as it happens. 65-minute audio cassette is just $5.95. Order yours today.
I bring to you now the people's choice, the candidate of the masses, the next governor of the state of New York, Dr. Lenore Khalani, the next governor of the next.
So this is where I am. We just did an interview. I think what I need to do is to reorganize this.
It's been great sharing access to the Next week, we'll take a look at the 1988 present. Until then, remember.
See, that's what I need to add in now. So maybe what I'll do is I'll put a National Alliance commercial in.
Mhm.
Yes, that's what I'll do. I'll put a National Alliance commercial in.
And how long is that? 30 seconds?
And that. I'll put the old National Alliance commercial in. See that reel? The 20-minute on the second shelf from the top? To your right, go to your right, right. Keep going, right. That's it, that one. It says National Alliance Babylon, doesn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Should I show you the ad?
The what?
The ad?
The ad?
Ad.
Oh, the ad, no.
Oh, give me the gray there. Gray envelope. I'd like you to take some with you and post them. Okay, it's not in the gray envelope, it's somewhere else. You see a bunch of papers? Papers?
Paper. Maybe it's in this grant envelope. Is this
Yes,
it?
yes, that's it. I'd like you to post some of these.
I shall.
How does that sound to you?
Editing and what I'm thinking about is like, where should I post it?
On Film Video Arts on Broadway.
How do you leave?
You know where they are?
Well, anybody
Uh-huh.
can leave. The problem is Mario
You
Cuomo
might
doesn't.
refresh my memory now. I don't
The
remember
news,
exactly
the
where it
views,
is.
no one else will give you.
Look on the magazine I gave you. It has the address for Film Video Arts.
Okay.
How do you leave? Well, anybody can leave. The problem is Mario Cuomo doesn't.
Every week, the news.
Around around the new school on 11th?
Well, anybody
Sixth
can
Avenue,
leave.
around
The
there?
problem is Mario Cuomo doesn't.
Every week, the news and views no one else will give you come to life
Oh,
in
I'm
the
thinking to look
National
around my
Alliance.
way. Columbia. Might be a good idea.
Might be right.
Yeah.
A couple up there.
He can leave. Well, anybody can leave. The problem is
Oh,
Mario
let's see
Cuomo
this
doesn't.
Columbia School of
Every
Journalism
week,
dudes.
the news and
Do that
views no one
swap
else will
around.
give you come to life in the National Alliance.
Babes mostly, college credits.
Albert is a hero to both.
Around the community, the country, and the world, people depend on the National Alliance for the real deal.
Yeah.
Trick here.
How do you leave? Well, anybody can leave. The problem is Mario Cuomo doesn't.
Every week, the news.
Isn't that kind of like fast? Kind of like, very tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, he leaves. Well, anybody can leave. The problem is Mario Cuomo doesn't.
Every week, the news and views no one else will give you come to life in the National Alliance. Around the community, the country, and the world, people depend on the National Alliance for the real deal. Subscribe now and get a great deal on the real deal. Order a 1-year subscription and get 3 extra months free. Order a 2-year subscription and get 6 extra months free. Operators are standing by, so call now. 212-941-5800, 212-941-5800.
Okay, so we're now at 2545.
415-800.
Okay. So now we'll come with Lonnie.
In today's program, Dr. Newman and I will be discussing and reflecting on that history.
All right, this is Nap History Opening, take 1.
I think you can use this.
It's been great sharing that history with you. Next week, we'll take a look at our brother from 1988 to present. Until then,
There's something about that shot that just looks. She looks very compressed.
great sharing.
It's compressed.
Yeah, well, I think it's like too much headroom.
Opening, take 1.
Makes it look very small.
It's been great sharing that history with you.
I had to leave this because there's a super that goes up here.
Oh, okay.
129415800.
Take 1.
Huh?
It's been great sharing that history with you. Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Until then, remember, take care of yourself. No justice, no peace.
Oh,
The
it's getting
condensed like that was Nap closed. Nap opening.
Faster outlet.
Yeah, yeah.
The speaker come.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
so scary. The fucking statue was so scary. Excuse me, but he was. Are we being videotaped?
That's
No,
off.
it's just surveillance camera.
Is that off?
Is it?
It's been great sharing.
No, it's still going.
Where's the red light?
It's up here. That's what I noticed. There is no tally light on this.
Until then, remember,
There isn't?
take care of
No.
yourself. No justice, no peace.
Well, where would it be then?
It goes right around the Panasonic, somewhere around the Panasonic. You know don't see a tally like that?
No, not at all.
129415300.
It's been great sharing that history with you. Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to present. Until then, remember, take
She is for creation of a national and of uninitiated girls.
Alright, how are you?
Okay, how are you? How was your dentist?
We pulled the cavity out, pulled the filling out and put it in another kind of filling.
a look at our growth from 1988 to
Really?
present.
I mean, he's gonna call me on Monday. Yeah, it's painful, dude.
Oh no.
He said if it doesn't work, he's gonna give me a root canal. I said, I don't want a root canal. Can we try anything else? He goes, okay, we'll try this.
She is for
Right on top
creation
of
of a
it.
national health service, against funding for
That was
doctors,
great, though.
for less money for the
Awesome.
I
military,
opted for
and
very
more
little
money for
Novocaine
social
because of the
services.
pain.
She supports the
I was like
nomination
this, though. Hopefully when you get the drill out, I just went like over it, double down.
6 extra
Let me
months.
breathe for a minute.
Operator standing by.
I have to for
Call
less
now.
Novocaine because he always used to give me so much.
212-941-5800.
And for the rest of the day, I feel like
Doesn't feel numb,
212-941-5800.
you feel pain.
No, because it was just like so quick. He's like, I'm giving you some Novocaine.
It's been
But if you
great
want to feel absolutely nothing, I can give you more Novocaine. But then like my whole mouth will get shut up. So I was like, I always get so fucking much Novocaine and feel sick for days after.
Sick.
That yeah, sick. I have a reaction to it of some sort. So I opted for just like where he was drilling directly, but I could still feel something, but it wasn't like what I usually get, which is just like out. But yeah, which is good because by the time I got all the way back down on the A train to class, it was not numb anymore, which is good. So I was able to just like forget about it quicker.
This,
What are you guys working on? It's almost
this
over.
is, closed. Second
Anybody
on
want
that.
to sit?
Sure, what is it?
Grapefruit?
Oh yeah, my favorite.
Really? Yours is very?
This,
As long as it's not celery soda.
I know.
Pardon me. I'm up for that.
this is,
On the meat.
Okay.
this is, closed. Second opening now, history, take one.
In today's program, Dr. Newman and I
Oh, this is setting to the Bronx. Oh, this is fun
The
to see.
boogie down.
You guys done this yet?
No, that's what we're
That's what you're doing.
Oh, cool. I was doing the final one.
This is, now history opening,
Maybe we
take
do this
one.
like really quick and precise.
Yeah, then we could do
great sharing that history with you.
everything.
Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to present.
You're taking your like scrubbing on.
Yeah. I shall.
Thank you. Because you know how this guy, am I distracting you? Very? Oh, okay, this guy who's like head of the family court lawyers like in New York City. Okay, he's like, he comes in and he's like, really good talker, you know, the kind of just like, he'll just, if he can't win you over, he'll just like trample all over you, one way or the other, he'll get you. And he was like, okay, now I just want to start by saying, you all live in New York City, right? Okay, so you're on the 1 train, you're at like 34th Street, it's like 7:30, and right away it's like dun dun dun, you know. And he sets it off, and then he goes, and everything's cool, and you know, blah blah blah, you're minding your own business. And then 4 kids come on the train. Oh, he goes, and then boom, and I went, oh no, gun. And he goes, the door's open, and 4 kids come on the train.
Black kids.
4 youth come on the train, and they're either, well, we've heard all the words, guys. We've heard Wilding, we've heard this, we've heard that. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Whip out your gun and your
And
shooter
they-
before they can do anything.
Exactly. And he goes, no, I don't care whether you have a gun on you, whether you're big or small, you're scared, you know? And I'm like, oh great. Like when my friend was
Whip out a gun and shoot him.
when this girl, this woman in the class, we always go home together till Nevin, till Franklin, and Jay wasn't going home, so I'm like, yeah, have fun, Diane, get home safely. And she was like, oh no, I know what I'm gonna be thinking about.
Alright, now you need to be quiet.
Okay. It's so scary though. These kids do these things because they know they don't have to be held accountable.
12941-5800.
Wow.
It's been great sharing that
bankers.
history with you. Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Until then, remember.
It's for creation of a national launch and of a share growth.
Like, it was so crazy.
Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Until then, remember.
But what is it, what do they call it?
Great sharing access.
Youth offenders?
Next week, we'll take a look at
Shit.
It's been great sharing that history with you. Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Until then, next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Until,
Oh, this is this yellow thing.
it's been great sharing that history with you. Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Until, next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. 1988 to the present. Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present.
Of a National Health Service, a service launch and of a
What is that? That you just did?
26.
We'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Look at our growth from 1988 to the present. Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988.
They're gonna go all the way.
I'd like to introduce you to a special guest, music producer and songwriter, Tony Rhodes.
Do you want to sit here?
Tony helped launch Castillo International Tapes, which produces and distributes commercial audio cassette tapes that document the new movement for civil rights and inclusion that is growing all across this country. With a very warm welcome, Tony.
It's a great pleasure to be here today, Dr. Klein.
Good. Tell us some about who you are.
It's a line from a rap song.
Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from
Tell us
1988
who
to
you
the present.
are.
I'd like to
Then I'll
introduce
take
you
you
to
in
a
on
special
culture.
guest.
Then after that, we'll go to the bar.
Oh, stop.
Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present.
That. I'd like to introduce you to a special guest, music producer and songwriter, Tony Rhodes. Tony helped launch Castillo International.
And more money for social service.
Yes. Glad to be of assistance, Barry.
Oh, I tell you, hit this.
Hit what?
Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present.
Now,
Introduce you to a special guest,
A little sooner. Should I hit him again?
no, wait till I say it.
Exactly when you tell me.
Next week, we'll take a look at our growth from 1988 to the present.
welcome back. I'd like to introduce you to a special guest,
It's like, eh?
music producer and
Yeah.
songwriter,
That was
Tony.
Fly.
Fly?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see the movie, did you?
Which one?
Let's get busy.
Next week, we'll take a look at our
Just
growth
questions.
from 1988
Why,
to
do you
the
have the whole
present.
thing?
Welcome back. I'd like to introduce you to a special guest, music producer and songwriter, Tony Rhodes.
It's Fly.
Tony helped launch Castillo International Tapes, which produces
Yeah.
and distributes
Dope.
commercial audio cassette tapes that document the new movement for civil rights and inclusion
2 minutes.
that is growing all across this
5,000.
country. With a very
Really?
warm welcome.
Will you be
welcome
5,000? G?
It's a great pleasure to be
Is
here.
that,
Good. Tell us
None?
something about who you
real
are.
money?
I was up in Boston, and I had a recording studio up there, 20
What
foot
up,
back, and we were doing people like
That thing,
King on
is
the
that
Block,
battery dead?
Perfect Gentlemen,
Uh,
Homework, CBS, Maurice Style. Try to be political
say
and do some things like that.
Pardon me.
But
Pardon me
mainly
there,
through
sister.
Music and how it's relevant to making money.
No, it's alive and kicking.
Going on.
What about the other battery? Did you use it at all?
City government,
No, I
different
didn't.
things that
All right, what I
wasn't
want you to
happy
do is
about
I want
having
you to-
come home from having lived in New York and lived in Europe and everything, so I decided to
Switch those
just be
batteries go with
involved.
the other
So I
camera.
was curious about these two people, Shopton and Fulani,
All right, let's
who
go
are
over
always
this.
in the
You stay
newspaper,
here and watch this one. It ends.
always on TV,
Let me get the other battery.
who had something important to say.
You hit, auto end.
Performance and actual taste came from that, from being and wanting to do something that were political, more than just dance music, even involved in that. So what I did was I brought along a few videos to show you from the Shopton and Fulani tape, which is in honor of yourself.
Let's take a look at the video clip.
We told you in the beginning, there would be no peace until there's justice.
So we're back with our guest, Tony Rhodes. The tapes hold so much energy and information and passion and emotion and great politics. How are you selling the tapes? What are people saying?
We're utilizing the direct marketing approach of mail order, retail outlets that we're using and distributors.
I'd like to thank Tony Rhodes for Sharpton and Fulani and Babylon and other tapes produced by Castillo International. You can get by calling the telephone numbers at the end of the show. I hope all of you will join us next week. Until then, this is Fulani saying, let's take care of ourselves and remember, no justice, no peace.
I like the sound.
Add it on there.
How are you selling your taste? What are people looking for? With our guest, Tony Rhodes. So we're back.
In the beginning, there would be no peace until there's justice.
So we're back with our guest, Tony Rhodes. The tapes hold so much.
Retail outlets that we're using and distributors.
I'd like to thank Nancy Skelda.
marketing approach of retail outlets that we're using and distributors.
I'd like to thank very deeply my dear brother Tony Rose. I hope all of you will join us.
Marketing approach of retail outlets that we're using and distributors.
I'd like to thank very deeply my dear brother Tony Rose. I hope all of you will join us next week. Until then, this is Fulani saying, let's take care of ourselves and remember, no justice, no peace. And remember, no killing for Emmanuel.
I doubt that this guy is